6:60 News Time, 8:17. An investigation into the June deaths of 19 firefighters killed while battling an Arizona blaze has found a litany of problems stemming from inadequate radio communication. ABC's Clayton Sandell reports.
Investigators, ABC News, Denver.
Kenya has sharply criticized a decision by the United States to issue an updated travel advisory for the country in the wake of the deadly attack on an upscale mall in the capital, Nairobi. A statement issued by Kenya's Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemns the travel warning, saying it is unnecessary and uncalled for. The U.S. State Department released the updated advisory yesterday that made reference to the terrorist attack on the Westgate Mall that left at least 67 people dead, including several foreigners. The advisory warned Americans to take caution in light of ongoing terrorist threats and the high rate of violent crime in some areas. 6:60 News Time, 11:45. Now 660 Sports from Sportsnet 960 The Fan. Here's Kevin Jeffrey. And Kevin, the Calgary Flames looking for a rare road win.
Absolutely, Lucas. It took him 49.
60's Lucas Meyer, who's live in the news center. Lucas.
Well, Chris, the big sticking point is regarding those mandatory spending cuts, which Congress put in place a year ago to essentially force them to get something done by the midnight deadline. But obviously that's not going to happen. Other than that, everything else is pretty much in agreement, including tax hikes, which, according to sources, will see Americans making $450,000 as a couple return to the Bill Clinton-era tax rate of 39.6%, up from the current 35%. Obama originally wanted that number at $250,000. Being so close to a deal, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell urged to get a vote done today. Senator Joe Lieberman echoed those comments, saying a bad deal is better than no deal at all.
This will not be the comprehensive bipartisan long-term debt agreement that we created the cliff to encourage.
Regardless, it didn't get done, but even going over the cliff, there won't be any immediate effects as Congress could vote tomorrow. Reporting live from the News Center, Lucas Meyer, 660 News.
March budget. 660's Lucas Meyer has more.
There were a lot of ideas about solving Alberta's woes, from across-the-board cuts, setting regulations on borrowing limits, and the theme of getting natural resources to new markets. While opposition and Wild Rose leader Danielle Smith agreed with Premier Redford on resources, she was disappointed about how much attention was spent on raising taxes and what she fears.
I'm very worried that what we're going to see is this is laying the table to try to soften the ground for tax increases in future years.
Redford told reporters what she thinks about her opponent's claim of laying the groundwork for new taxes.
We had an election. We said we wouldn't raise taxes, and we didn't. Our critics for the next 6 months said they're going to raise taxes, and we didn't. Our critics will continue to say that, and the proof of the pudding will be in what we actually do.
From Mount Royal University, Lucas Meyer, 660.
Do you play croquet?
Why, yes, Your Majesty.
Croquet made its first and last appearance in 1900. That same year was the only Olympiad for live pigeon shooting, discontinued after it's believed 300 birds were shot. So we'll just have to get our kicks from duck hunt. Skipping to modern times, you've heard of synchronized swimming, but the 1992 Barcelona Games were the end of the solo version of the sport, featuring top athletes like Canada's Caroline Waldo and Japan's Mawako Motoyoshi. Other sports that didn't quite make it over the last century: tug of war, water skiing, and of course, korfball. Begging for the return of hot air ballooning, Lucas Meyer, 660 News.